Boom, I did it. I'm back. And I'm with an awesome story again. So, as I said from last time, I had the prologue reading. If you like that, that's probably the reason why you came here. Or you're just bored and you don't know what else to do with your pitiful life. Your guys' life isn't pitiful, mine is, but back to all that crazy stuff. Chapter 1 of Life of the Runaways. Brother, are you sure about this? Lillian asked as she pressed her back against the wall. She had cropped golden hair which waved like the ocean, even though the halls had no wind at all. Trying to zoom in, I can't. Her eyes were golden yellow and her sclera, I know how to say that, sclera were black, giving her a demented look. Like all the other prisoners, she wore gray pants with a white shirt. Her orange skin looked off in the clothes she wore. Lillian, I am not your brother, and be silent, Chris whispered to her. Lillian looked down, ashamed that she had called him brother again. Chris was one of the prisoners that looked a bit more normal than the rest. I said silky. He had spiky hair and a pair of dazzling blue eyes. His skin was a nice golden tan, but the thing that was off about him was a pair of elf-like ears and short tan horns on the top of his head. Victoria, Willis, come out, Chris whispered, and two people appeared before him. There were twins, the both of them. Victoria and Willis both had black hair. Each of them had pale skin and a pair of violet eyes. Victoria's hair was cropped at an angle so it was longer on one side and shorter on the other. Willis's hair was pulled back on as a small ponytail. He pulled a card from the back of his hair and handed it to Chris. Chris hid it in his pocket and looked around the corner. The two guards in full metal black suits stood in front of the huge door, just as the elders had said. The guards each had guns. I can't say anything. Each had guns, and they were able to disintegrate a person within seconds. Chris had watched Lillian's brother be killed with a gun. He took a deep breath, and before he opened his palm and closed it, signaling the twins to turn invisible, he looked back at Lillian and pointed his finger, then weaved a path on the palm of his hand. Lillian nodded, and her skin slowly started to lose its glow as she touched the wall. Lillian nodded, and the lights went out. "Who's there?" Guard yelled. Chris made his move. His hands started glowing as he stepped out from behind the wall. The guards pointed their guns at him. "Stop moving, or shoot!" they both yelled. Chris smiled. His eyes glowed blue, and he was gone in a flash of blue light. I don't have any sound effects, so don't judge me. The yellow light of the guns firing and the blue light of Chris's hands filled the room. Soon you couldn't tell which was which. Then the gunfire stopped, and Chris shook his hands as the lights came back on. His hands shrunk back into hands. That's a lot of hands. And the blood of the two soldiers was gone in seconds. Chris looked up to see Victoria and Willis wipe specks of blood from their mouths. "None shall know what went down here," Willis said in a rhythmical accent. Victoria nodded and looked back at Lillian, who had walked out from her hiding spot. She licked her lips and smiled down at the two men deviously. "Two down, how sad. I wasn't able to hold the blade in my hands." She shook one of the guns and aimed it at the guard's head. "Luckily, I had the gun to finish the job." She shot the man and he turned to dust. She shot the other one and threw the gun on the ground. Chris grimaced, but turned away knowing that they were already dead made him feel a bit better. "Remember the plan. Lillian, you open the doors. Twins, you guard the entrance." "In the count of three, Lillian," Chris said, and she ran to his side. She slid on her knees, finding the panel on the wall that held a code lock. First, pause. So, code lock. I didn't know what else to put down. I couldn't find any certain type of locks whatsoever, so that's what I got. And so back to normal. She pulled her hand back and punched it through the metal. She smirked as she pulled the metal away, revealing the glowing green numbers of the four-digit lock. Chris started counting. She placed her palm on the lock and sucked in a sharp breath, releasing it. Volts of electricity sizzled the lock. The door opened. Chris jumped in just as they closed behind him. He rubbed his hip as he looked around him. He blinked his eyes so that he could see in the darkness of the area. His eyes caught the sight of a light panel, and he flipped the switch. and winced as lights turned on, blinding him. Chris slowly opened his eyes and looked around. He fell back against the wall behind him, covering his mouth with his hands. He felt fear claw his throat as he looked to the walls around him. And cliffhanger. Chapter 2 will be coming next, but I hope you like that because I feel like I sucked while reading that. I made so many side comments. It's not really my problem. But okay. I hope you enjoyed. And I can't turn it off. Goodbye.